highly rewarding, as you know. And it's really designed fundamentally around two aspects. One is the basic compensation plan, which is at some levels, which is really huge. And almost every ML in the market is somewhere between 22, 25 to 30, 32%. So our payout really exceeds that. We're able to do that because of things that you understand about manufacturing our own products, et cetera, et cetera. But in network marketing, the biggest product most companies have is the business opportunity. And that's what ours is too. Business opportunity is their best product. It's an opportunity to do it right, understand, and be successful at it. So the more things that companies can do to help you be successful, the better off everyone is. This company, of course, the downlines. I'm not in this for personal gain. I'm in this business where I sold out, as you know, a number of years ago in my previous business awards, but had a tremendous amount of money that came in from what I had built as a company. I put most of that in the sizzle because it wasn't a business for me, it was the mission. And the mission, the Mower mission, if you will, is one to help people become successful, happy, and prosperous, and health, wealth, happiness is how the Chinese say it, is what you need to have a good life. I'm doing everything in my power to do that. That's why, unlike other companies, which all have the idea of making tremendous amounts of money, I join in this and, oh, you look at my check, it's just big. Now, those things can be done, check flashing, but that's also an issue with the FTC where they hadn't legitimately qualified and earned that seriously. But we're going to avoid all those with it. But other companies that have grown big on a false premise. Now, take a look at, I won't name companies by name, but when you take a look at mangosteen juice, which a number of companies have, and even being sold in the store, the University of Adelaide did an analysis and said apple juice is better for you than that. You can buy it at the counter right out of the store. And here a $1 billion company got built out of that concept. It's because it seemed exotic to people and they over-exaggerated what it can do. So products are overhyped and underperformed. As many of you know, the FDA audited the top 200 selling brands of products in America, Costco, GNC, Walmart, all those places like that, and they found that of the top 200, not one of them had enough of the active ingredient to be considered a therapeutic dose. So they put bottles in beer bottles so that you have a more better impression with that. And you can go ahead and build a business. But the most important thing about it is you really want credibility for yourself. And if you're going to pay out good money, and this is a money game where you pay out good money because the business opportunity is there to make you good money. This is a opportunity where we're doing it just, as I say, past experts from other companies. And what we're trying to do is put out products that are that can be highly hyped but overperform rather than highly hyped and underperform. We're going just the other way. That means buying more expensive ingredients. That means buying ones that are really proven to work and using them in what is considered therapeutic doses and blending them with blends of other types of ingredients and all of that. That's some of what PW was talking about. God's blessed me with the genius to do that type of thing. And I recognize it. And I'm dedicated my life to doing not just that, but also give people a business opportunity. So some spectacular things. We're getting a lot of inquiry. This is a good time to tell you about what's happened. And with our changeover, we had there's growing things and heating things, as you know, and we certainly had those with changing everything within the company for this new image, new products, new website, the comp plan, all of the things that with the literature and all and that. But the products that we've had, of course, they remain the same. The compensation plan was improved even more. But now we've had a couple of products that have come from out of nowhere and moved right to the top. Our number one selling product a year ago was Fucoid. Now it's the age. Sizzle Rip is we had some issues with some ingredients that were coming in that we detected and found that the supplier was not being honest and ethical, and they actually were illegal in what they were trying to purport. Now it came out of China, and we have a big lab because we don't trust China. We know that lying is an acceptable business practice in China. That's one of the first things you learn. So we test and validate. We believe, as Reagan said, we believe but verify. So we believe that will work, but we will look at the studies to see if it does, and then we will get the ingredients and we will analyze them right down to the core. We know exactly what's new and what the amount is every time a batch comes in. So we had enough batches coming through on Sizzle Rip that we were quite confident of it. And then from out of the blue, here comes the test, and this is what we've done to the product. And so we had a manufacturer who just had to stop it, just sit right there, ready to be destroyed. Filed a complaint with the FTC, or excuse me, the FDA, and we're going after them. They came in, they've done an extensive on us, and said, yeah, we know it wasn't you, you're clean, and you're in compliance with good manufacturing practices and at the highest level. So the problem was that Sizzle Rip got ripped out of your hands because of this kind of thing. We had no choice, and they wouldn't allow us to make it and do it. Now we have been able to do some sachets, went up the demand for it because as our number two selling product was so great that it just stripped us of how we had a second thing. It took all of our sachets, our packets, all of those kinds of things, and we ran right out because this product has got so much momentum in what it's doing. So we had to order a new engine to produce it. Like a 6-week lead time on them, 8-week lead time on things like that. So we've done everything that we could do, and we got sachets out, but it went offline again because we ran out of product. However, we've got enormous amounts of products in now, and we think we can keep up with it. And I wanted to tell you, I think as of Tuesday of next week, two things are going to happen with Sizzle Rip. Number one, sachets, which were filled. They've been filled for 2 days. They just have to undergo a quarantine period where they're tested and evaluated and make sure everything's stable. That's part of FDA regulations. And so it's being tested for a certain period of time, make sure that there's no reaction, no microbials, all of that type of thing. It should be released next Tuesday. Along with that, we decided, so many people were asking for it in bulk, we decided to bring out some bulk, actually bags, tubs, you might call them. You have to go to bags to really be efficient. They're also very good for recycling, where the tub really is not. And so we ordered bags so we could make Sizzle Rip available in bulk. Now for the same price as a black box of sachets with, you get Sizzle Rip, you get 10% or more, actually more than that, added into the product to increase the volume for the same price. So that's a big sale, but now or a big deal, let me just put it that way. But now the one thing that's happened with that is it's still a ways out until these bags come in. But I'm going to do one thing. I just want to announce it right now. We're going to do something so that people can buy the Sizzle Rip in the bulk size, but it's going to be a good until gone thing because we can get tubs, big canisters, and we can go through a whole different labeling process, and there's a lot of head space in it because there's a certain volume that goes in it, and there's only a certain size tubs that you can get readily. But I made the decision here 2 days ago that we were going to buy tubs, get them in quick, get the labels done, which you can have done locally because there won't be such a big run. And we're going to release a promo, and it should be coming out hopefully today or tomorrow. And then next week when they go on sale, you'll be able to buy sachets in Sizzle Rip, or you'll be able to buy the tubs, but the tubs will only be good till gone. But once they're gone, we think we're only a week or two away. It's just, we don't know what the demand is. It's so massive for this product because it's such a sensational product. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, too, was the fact that I have improved the formulation. Now, how do you improve perfection? Well, it's really kind of easy. You take it to another level and add something in that illuminates it. And what we've done is we put some very powerful what they call, I won't go through all of them, but it's called a myostatin inhibitor. And what it does is it supports the body for muscle cells and tissue cells and things like that that are closing and constricting with age, so the openings in them are as large, to almost like dilate out so they can accept higher levels of nutrients so you can have more results. That's why if you take it before a workout, you have a much greater gain after. If you take it before and after, you have a tremendous gain with this because the product isn't just there for the short time. It's there and goes on and on and on. The other thing we talk about, older people who can't, because of financial circumstances or age or where they're living, can't get out and exercise. Well, here's a product for couch potatoes. You can sit there and watch TV or whatever you're doing in your life, but it's not an active one, and take the product, and it will support the body to build stronger muscles. Now, while we had that happening, and there's been 22 studies done at major universities all across the United States to validate this. Now we've added this myostatin inhibitor, which we had one that was working, but we've added a significant improvement in it so that you'll have even better results with Sizzle Rip. So I think that's great news for everyone. The other one, this is going to kind of blow your socks off. And I told people we'd go half an hour, and I'm going to have a tough time doing that. But that's brain vitality. Since the H pill has taken off so exceptionally well, we've recommended that you do two things. The H pill, we believe, can be supported according to the ingredients. We haven't had our formula tested, so we can't make the claim for our formula. But many of you have seen the studies that I've published that are from independent sources showing that H pills, the ingredients in the H pill, some of them as tested at major universities like Harvard University, actually can support stem cells, and they're like the master cell that produces all the replacement cells. You got 220 different types of stem cells throughout your body, and your body wears out. And some cells are gone in a month, and some last 3 to 5 years. But however they're programmed, stem cells is what maintains your body mass. But that goes down with age. And because it does, your efficiency goes down to where when you're like 60 years old, you're down to, we estimate, about 2% to 5% of stem cell activity that you had when you were 20. By the time from 20 to 30, just say it's driven to grow you. And once you're grown at 20, then you've lost about 40% in the next 10 years. So 20 to 30, I'm not too much difference. Well, you've lost 40% of stem cell activity, and you can start to see the decline setting in about that time. Then over the next 10 years, it goes down where you've lost 60%. And so there you're sitting at 40 years old, and you've lost 60% of your stem cell activity. No wonder your body is wasting away. And that's one of the things that happens because the stem cells are just sluggish, become dormant. Some of them are polluted and contaminants with all kinds of things that are leftovers from metabolic activity. So we've come through with an extensive formulation to support. We found that researchers have found, and so we're following that. That's our hypothesis. That's why I have to say it, because we haven't sent ours through the exhaustive clinical discoveries, but we've taken what's been there in ingredients, and we've used full amounts of it, and sometimes even more so. And then because I do a lot of research, I found some other ways and different aspects to enhance it, so we can do everything we can in our power to increase stem cell activity. But it's like a car that's all worn out, and you can overhaul it, and now it can run up to speed. But if the road it has to run on is bumpy, full of holes, chuck holes, maybe a dirt road and windy, you can't get your speed up. And that's where the role of telomeres comes in. Telomeres, and this is all recent stuff that's just been found, Telomeres have been shown to be the igniter and the regulator of stem cell activity. So if you have stem cell activity sluggish, and you have telomeres, they'll tell it how often to divide. And so because of that, you produce less cells. But the other thing that becomes worse is if you have a stem cell that becomes dormant, then telomeres have no effect on it. But what we found is there have been ingredients that can, and they're talking about injecting stem cells and everything else, but there's been compounds and ingredients in studies, and we can't make that claim that our product does that, but we are using these ingredients, and you have the right to DSHEA, the law, to look at these and make your own evaluation. And so with this, we have looked at improving telomeres or maintaining long telomere length, two ways. Been doing it. So now, if the stem cell, let's take a dormant or a senescent stem cell, one that's slowing down, less productive, and if it has within its own cell the ability to repair damage, regenerate, get rid of the pollutants that are built up from metabolic waste, leftovers that haven't got out, and to return to where in studies they've shown it becomes old stem cells become indistinguishable from young stem cells. Now, I won't go through it because I've talked about it, the many things that can happen from that, but you're literally becoming a new you. Now, that's why we have TSX, because every time stem cells divide, they have to give up telomere units. Now, telomeres are tips and chromosomes only found in stem cells. So as you give up units after a period of time, you go down, you lose about 8 to 10% of your telomeres after the year, after you're 20. And so if you do every 10 years, so every 10 years you lose an 8 to 10, 8 to 10, 8 to 10, 8 to 10, 8 to 10. And so now it's telling the stem cells not as often when to ignite because it's limiting it by the length of the telomeres, if that makes sense. So here's what we've done. We brought in the Superman of telomere products, and it's TSX. It has enormous amounts of power. And for those of you that, especially if you're over 40, you really ought to be on TSX because you're going down so fast. Over 30, I would say, of course, but 40 ought to be. If you really understood it, you would think it was imperative to do that. So now if we can support the body and the stem cell to become indistinguishable and to function like it was younger, and we can take that bumpy old road and we can smooth it out into a super highway, and the telomere length is long. We've either maintained it long, but whatever the length of it is longer than it is within normal telomere deterioration. So now if it's renewed, now it tells it, it's the igniter, and it tells it divide, 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 instead of divide, dump, 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 divide. So suddenly you've sped it up to where now your stem cells can divide fast because you have the telomere units that can give off fast enough to keep up with the rate of duplication in stem cells. That's a 1 and 1 equals 10 type equation. That's mathematics on steroids, and that's what this is with telomeres and stem cells. And so we have two products for each. Now, we've noticed that since we've introduced the age pill, that our product, brain vitality, has just skyrocketed. It's almost doubled within, I don't know, the last 6 months. It's just going up because we're telling everything, if you can rebuild your body, what's the most important organ in your body? It's the brain. You want to do everything it can. And the brain vitality, if you look at it supports a lot of things. It supports the body in its fight against things like Alzheimer's and dementia and degeneration and oxidation damage and so much. But one product doesn't do it all, but this will do a lot with it. This will do most everything with it. If you have something like super omega-3s to back it up, you've got lightning in a bottle. But with that, we've made an amazing discovery. Now, you got to remember, this thing is new science. So we found quite an amazing discovery just recently. And with the science of stem cells, we're doing things that a year or two ago, or at least two probably, were inconceivable, couldn't be done. But it has been advancing so fast in that because of the spectacular aspect of it, the formulation that Harvard Medical School, which doesn't use our ingredient, I think they have a more effective way of it, but it gets to the same pathway. But their ingredient, they're calling theirs the immortality pill. Well, we can't say immortality. They can. They're doing research as a drug. But what we can say is longevity. We believe that you can grow younger and live for a much longer time at a much younger age. So if telomeres if we can take a stem cell and support it in the massive ways that we do with so many systems all working together to handle every different aspect of the cell that deteriorates, then telomeres is a regulation. So with that, TSX cells have gone up too. So brain vitality, TSX gone up. And then we come across a discovery as I was looking at things. We're looking at things to keep the telomeres from deteriorating. And we found a new discovery, and it was a modification of something that we were using in our brain vitality. And it would support an increase in telomerase, which is the enzyme that increases rebuilding of telomeres. So I looked at that and I thought it wasn't known. It's brand new. Nobody really knows about it. The science is out there and proven to do it, but no one's moved on it. But we have now. So now it's in brain vitality. Now with that, it doesn't have the dynamics that TSX has to support long telomeres. But this one has one to support it. We estimate, this is what our hypothesis is, to keep it ahead of the duplication rate of the stem cells. Maybe the superhighway isn't built out over the horizon, but maybe it's for a few miles down there, and as you get there, you see it's extended and extended. And that's what we think you can do now by taking brain vitality. So for those who've taken TSX, keep on it because it's on warp drive. It's accelerated. But now with brain vitality, which you want to use anyway, you've got the improved benefit of supporting an increase of telomerase, which increases telomere length. Tell me that's not dynamic. It's really spectacular with everything else that we have in the brain vitality product. Now, we have two other things I'm going to tell you about really quick. Sorry for the time. I'll do one real quick. 10X, people are really excited about that. They know some of the things that it can do, and it's going to be so spectacular for supporting many of the different biological functions throughout the whole body. As long as your stem cells are going, your telomeres are long, and your brain is being repaired, then this comes in, and this does things on all the different specific points or things that are necessary for certain metabolic processes to take place, like hormone regulation, like hormone production. Those are just a couple that are right there. Antioxidants and many other things like that. So that one is a very complex formula. You see the ingredient panel, but we tried to do about everything from supporting growth factors, in turn create other growth factors. We have all of it, but supporting is the key word. We can't say it does it. We can say it supports the mechanism that does it. So anyway, a lot of people, when's it going to be out? When's it going to be out? Well, we got a lot to do, but we've got a deadline set that we're shooting for, that it should be out January 1st. So that's pretty exciting. Now, the only other thing that's still really exciting is the Supra H2 stick, S-T-I-K, that's how you spell it. The name is Supra H2, which stands for diatomic hydrogen, and then stick, S-T-I-K. Now, I've talked to people about that, and you can take it, a sachet we're going to have in boxes, you can take it and you can drop it into a bottle of water if you want, if you bought from the store, and I need to fill it clear to the top, so because hydrogen rises, so you want to keep it retained as much as possible. you fill it with that bottle, and then let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. And you might even have trouble getting the cap off. The pressure will be so great from all the hydrogen that has been put in it. And you'll feel within a minute the whole bottle is expanded and become much more firm. This is because this is like hydrogen on super steroids. This will produce enormous amounts of hydrogen. I've never seen anything other than pure hydrogen that will produce amounts of hydrogen like this. And so we have it in a sachet, so you can put it in your pocket, put it in your purse, and take it. And if you go somewhere, you can buy a bottle at work or when you're traveling. Or if you just want a glass of water, break the sachet and pour half of it into a glass of water because it's half the volume of a bottle of water, and then just slightly stir it a little bit. You don't want to stir it too much because remember, hydrogen gases. And if you do, then you're going to create very high levels of diatomic hydrogen. Now, what does diatomic hydrogen do? Well, I've just read a report yesterday. They don't really know a lot about it, but they know that it's called biological hydrogen. And just recently, in conjunction with the stem cells, they found that, and we've talked about that before, that through the conversion rate of stem cell support, you make NAD, which goes on and makes ATP, which converts into biological hydrogen, which then converts into electrical energy in the cell to reach what we hope and believe is homeostasis. So it's at its peak effectiveness. You can't overcharge it, but you can bring it up to that level. So and biological hydrogen is part of that equation. But now here's where the latest bit of studies come in, and this is, I hope you've got a gourd, because this will wow you off your gourd, because now we have science have found that by increasing the amount of biological hydrogen into a stem cell, where they're trying to increase the production rate of NAD, that if you have levels, depending on what it is and the levels that you have, it will take that power, the power of or potential of creating NAD, and it will increase it threefold. That's 3 times more, to tenfold. That's 10 times greater. Plus, hydrogen goes through every cell in your body. It neutralizes all. It's the most powerful antioxidant. You need it everywhere, and it goes everywhere. And so now with our Super H2 stick, you have got it where it'll be handy and convenient. It's not out yet, but we're thundering down that road, and we think we hope within weeks. Now, you got to remember one thing: this is a brand new technology, highly advanced. We're having limited quantities of some of the key ingredients because they just haven't been in production. We're getting them made, so we're going to launch it. Probably we'll launch it initially with perhaps 5,000 bottles. We think we can get enough to make 5,000 bottles and let people buy everything until it's gone, and we'll have them making the other ingredients so we can hopefully keep up, because this gives you so much energy and so much for your biology and your health on top of everything else. And who wouldn't want, for the price of less than the price of a cup of coffee, less and the price of the bottle of water that you purchased, you can have the power of the sun, hydrogen, through every cell of your body. That's pretty dynamic. So look for that. We're hopefully 2 to 3 weeks we'll have that. It's based on getting the ingredients in, and then we'll give you an announcement with it. So those are the messages. I've gone, about 12 minutes over, sorry. Those are the messages we have today. But when you think of that, Sizzle Rip, sachets, and tubs will be out. Start shipping Tuesday of next week. Brain Vitality now has a new ingredient to support an increase in telomerase, which supports an increase in telomeres. So if you're using that, it's going to keep those telomere units ahead of the duplication rate of the stem cells. And then we have, of course, 10X coming out of the first of the year, and Supra H2 stick coming out now. So we're a company that, as I said earlier, and I'll close this way, that's doing things backwards. In other words, we are building a product based upon a company based on spectacular product performance. Now, these mystical ones like acai or mangosteen or Noni or some of those had great success, but the reality was not many people are using it anymore because the hype was in the money-making opportunity. With ours, the hype has got to be in reality. This can make a bigger, stronger, healthier, younger you, and many other products to go with it for skin and hair and all of that. Look at my last post on Facebook about one of the ingredients in the age pill does to the skin. It's stunning. But those studies are just coming out. But nobody's moving on, and we are moving on it at light speed because we want to keep you way ahead. Might be years before some of these products come out. Okay, that gives us years without competition. And right now in the age pill, for instance, our lead seller, which I think always will be, we have no competition in all of MLM. So it's the opportunity of a lifetime. And sorry I've gone over 14 minutes past the time. I did it as fast as I could, but you can see there's so much here, and it's so darn exciting. But Sizzle Rip on Tuesday, Brain Vitality you can buy today that supports long telomeres or building long telomeres or telomerase. And then Super H2 out in 2 to 3 weeks with this kind of thing. And 10X in January is going to just shake the earth with the power that it has too. So I hope you're impressed with what Sizzle is. I know what I am. I created Sizzle. I've developed most of the products. I have and I praise God for doing it. But He's just given me a God-given mind and genetics to understand this, to know it, and then the personality and the drive to make it come to pass. And why am I doing that? There's only one reason. It's for the most important component of this company, and that component is you. So the time that I'm spending, I don't get paid anymore. I'm going to spend an enormous amount of time, but it's not for money for me. It's for success for you. So that's the Mower mission. Those are the things we're doing. Now, with this new information, you ought to go out on fire and build a business that is really